Welcome to Vampire the Masquerade, Coteries of New York, episode 3, and let's get started. Welcome, I'm King Priam by night, and we're playing Thane, the newly made vampire. He met a handsome stranger that took interest in his artwork and invited him to his apartment, where he probably made us a vampire. After feeding on an innocent woman, a stranger came by and made us come with him, or, forced us to come with him. And after a few choices, we actually, in a bad situation, I imagine. He took us to a garage, and we're standing in front of a steel door, and he's gesturing us to move inside. And that's where we're at now. Finding no more willpower to resist, you step inside. The stranger nods contently. Good night. He locks the door behind you and looks very secure and sturdy. You open the fridge. There's a single plastic bag there, filled with red liquid, unlabeled. Tomato soup. You feel sick to your stomach. Best leave it for now. You lie down on the bed. It's a simple mattress on a metal frame, kind of grimy and damp. Seeing it makes you grimace, but you're just too tired not to lie down. Your entire body hurts, a dull feeling that makes you feel heavy. You feel vulnerable and lonely. Usually when that happened, you turn your attention to painting, just to not think about the alternative. Your family upbringing left you with no skill but artistic talent. Creating art used to be something of an unpleasant duty. Somewhere along the line, though, it became the only weapon you had to fight with the existential despair. Some of your best work were created in lieu of impotently crying in bed. Hell, you're pretty sure a few of those pieces had your tears mixed in with the paint. Like the painting that led you whole night to this. You look back at your life and it starts looking like a downward spiral. You're so tired, your entire body tenses up, and before you know it, you drift away into oblivion. You wake up. That in itself is a surprise. You barely remember when you drifted off. It doesn't feel quite like sleep, more like plummeting into an endless void. You imagine that's how death feels like. The room is unchanged. The lamp is still on, the AC is still rattling, the refrigerator still humming. You take a look at your watch. It's almost 9 p.m. You slept for 70 hours straight? Maybe you died. Your breath is gone, you feel no thumping in your chest. Does that qualify as death if you're still conscious? You're not sure about that, but you're certain about one thing. You're hungry. It's not your stomach rumbling, though. It's a need that starts somewhere in your abdomen and spreads to your chest, throat, and back of the head. You open the fridge. The bag is still there. You take a closer look at it. If it's soup, then its color and textures are off. You pull the cork out, take a whiff. You recognize the smell immediately. Holy shit. There's no mistaking it. It's bagged blood. The smell is faint, and you remembered some situation in the past where you found it nauseating, but now it's almost, no, not almost, it is enticing. Put the bag back, or drink the blood. I would imagine put the bag back because he's new to this and he has drank his fill last night, and this situation afterwards has taken him to this single room, locked inside. And yeah, I think he returns the bag. Something in your body wants to have a sip from the bag. Somehow it's tempting, but the very idea makes you feel sick to your stomach. You cork the bag and put it back in the fridge. Some time passes. You try to piece together different thoughts, make sense of it all, when you hear the lock click and see the door open. Standing there is the well-dressed stranger you met yesterday. Immaculate suit again, that predatory look, like a hawk on a hunt, but somehow more relaxed tonight. So like a tamed hawk, maybe. Good evening. Slept well? Your face is good enough as an answer, I suppose. There's not much you know, but of this you're 100% sure. You look like shit right now. Come on, we've got places to be. The car is humming in the empty parking lot, just outside the door of the cramped room you have spent the day in. The man motions to it politely, but with a stern look on his face. Hijack the car, get inside the car and follow the stranger to whatever end that's near, or rush the stranger. That feels like the most bad option. He's a predator and lethal and dangerous. But this is a good choice now. We have an opening. Let's hijack the car. Yeah, let's hijack the car. It's a good option. We can't follow this man to the end of the world. The car, that's your only option. You push past the stranger and rush to the driver's door. You open the car, reach for the keys. A strong, firm grasp on your shoulder yanks you back violently. You're thrown to the cold concrete, out of the car. The man produces a sharp piece of wood from his pocket and slams it into your chest. It's a sharp pain that makes all your muscle tense, paralyzes, then a feeling of all-encompassing exhaustion, blacking out. You can see the trunk of the car opening, then the trunk closing with your body inside. The last thing you sense is the engine starting, then you're wrapped in an all-encompassing nothingness. You drift into oblivion. So okay, that was the bad choice. Hope he don't kill me now. It's probably strike 2 in his mind. You feel the pain in your chest and hear a wet, squelching-like sound. You suck air through your teeth as you wake and hoping this was all a nightmare. Alas, the gasp is just an instinct. You don't actually breathe in nor out, and your heart is still as before. You're in a bright lit room, paintings on the walls, soft music, an art gallery. The stranger is here, holding a stake in his hand. There are more people too, many more, all staring at you. You look down, your clothes rip around your sternum, you touch your chest. You realize there's a gaping hole there. You can feel your broken ribs and the flesh around them. The nightmare keeps going strong. Get up. You stand up. About 24 faces observe your every move, and a number of waiters navigate the gathering, serving drinks. None of them are acknowledged by the people they are attending. Guests are well dressed, mostly, but it's unclear why they've gathered here. Nobody seems particularly interested in the art pieces on the wall, and the atmosphere is polite, unnaturally so. Something about everyone's eye makes it abundantly clear. They are all here for you. I think the fledgling is ready to take your questions, Prince. Prince? You look at who the stranger were addressing. You expected a man, but it's a somewhat plain-looking woman. The woman. Well-dressed, intense stare, stern, gloved hands, pulling them off. So it will seem, Kadir. Good evening, child. So the stranger is called Kadir. And excuse me, what? Good evening, miss. Well, I have no clue what's happening. Kadir is interesting to know more about, but excuse me, what? The Prince of New York City, Helen Panhard, child of Michaela, is addressing you, whelp. Thank you, my sheriff, but I'm capable of introducing myself. She doesn't seem to possess a great deal of charm, but still the entire room is intently focused on her voice. She has influence over these people, that much is clear. You shall address me as Prince, child. I'm told you have proven to be quite a burden to our dear sheriff, Kadir, this night. And after being relatively cooperative the night before too, whatever got inside your head. Hushed voices fill the room. One of the faces catches your eye. It's a beautiful woman, with curly, almost blood-red hair and a dress to match. You see her leaning over to some bespectable man. She looks at you briefly, but with interest. The woman who called herself Prince glances around the room expectantly. The whisper ceases. We have already heard all we need to know about your behavior, but there's one thing that only you may know. Your sire, the person who brought you where Kadir picked you up last night. Who were they? I totally agree. What sire? Doesn't matter. Beautiful man. At this point, I think we don't got anything to hide. Kadir made it quite obvious that this could be our last night. So a little cooperation could be the way to go. Interesting to know what sire is. But yeah, a beautiful man. He was beautiful, charismatic, charming, dark hair, a sort of artistic mess. He had an accent that I couldn't recognize. He took notice of my art, bought a piece, in fact. I wanted to meet him again. I want to meet him again. The last sentence came out almost involuntarily. You immediately feel ashamed, sound like a sad puppy whimpering after their master. Yes, you do want to meet the man again. It's an urge deeper than you ever felt. Maybe even love? No, that's idiotic. He never even introduced himself to you. He used you. That asshole just plain used you. For what? Well, Kadir, does that sound familiar? No, it doesn't. No, it does not. Or at least not familiar enough. I will continue the search after we're done here. Should we cooperate a little bit more? As I said earlier, if you played the Toreador and made different choices, let me know in the comments. And yeah, I don't know if I'm a full sellout. My skin, I want to take care of my life and my situation. I don't know what these dozen of people want with me yet, except to know my sire, who he might be. So what happens now? Can I go? You can track him. I'm not sure. I think I'll go, what happens now? Well, that's as much as you're getting out of me. What now? Now? Now it's time to decide your fate, fledgling. What shall I do with the fledgling, my prince? What is your recommendation, my sheriff? The traditions are clear. Thou shalt only sire another with the permission of thine elder. If thou creates another without thine elder's leave, both thou and thy progeny shall be slain. I'm eager to do my duty. Stay your hand for just a moment longer, Kadir. I wish to consult my counsel on this, make sure everyone is in agreement. Of course. He relaxes a bit and closes his eyes. The prince leaves the main showroom and about 6 people follow her out. You're about to ask this Kadir what all this talk of tradition and councils was, when the red-haired woman approached the two of you. Sophie, a beautiful woman, full red visage. Sophie, okay. Wonder why she's taken notice of me. Sheriff, I was wondering if I could have a word with the fledgling. What for? She lowers her voice in response. Come now, Kadir. There can only be one verdict given the circumstances. Let me speak to them. You might not have to stain your hands tonight after all. I already have, thanks to this whelp's insolence. Do not use one fledgling's beast speaking up in a moment of terror as a justification for heeding the voice of your own, Sheriff. Hypercrisis suits you ill. That grabs his attention. His face is hard to read. It's like several emotions struggling for domination. Anger, sadness, resolve. Damn you, Langley. His eyes flare up with contempt. 5 minutes, and not a moment longer. He storms out of the room the way you came, and you are left in the showroom with a woman in a red dress. She takes you aside, and the eyes of the remaining guests follow. Well, fledgling, you managed to get under Kadir's skin. Not an easy feat. You are in a precarious position, and in need of allies. You're lucky that I have decided to attend this meeting tonight. Am I? I probably am. If she wants to stick her neck out for little me. So you're willing to help me. I'll do fine on my own. What was that about a beast? Yeah, a beast is interesting. Just a sire, but I actually think keep her talking. Why is she willing to help me? You're willing to help me, or am I getting that wrong? I'm willing to take the risk for you, yes. But before I get to that, I need you to understand one crucial fact that seems to have eluded your grasp. Last night, you became a vampire. Wait, what? Oh yeah. I'm well aware of how ridiculous that sounds. It's why we have these nicer words for it. Kindred. Being embraced, having a sire. The fact remains. The being called vampires, you're looking at them. They're us. Oh my god, that's a revelation. Oh man. That explains our hunger for blood in the fridge and why we drained the girl in the sofa. You glance around. Some of the guests are still occasionally looking at you, commenting on you in hushed tones. Many of the patrons are pale, really pale. Most hold glasses of wine. No, not wine. That's not the right thickness. And not the right color either. You're trying to come up with something sensible to say, but you're drawing a blank. It makes a morbid kind of sense. You drank blood last night, there's no denying it. And your breathing has not returned, and your heart remains still. A vampire? Two voices in your head start battling for supremacy. One of them slowly begins to put everything that has happened since yesterday together, coming to a conclusion that no matter how insane it might seem, nothing but what she's saying makes sense. The other voice just keeps saying, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck, what the fuck, on repeat. You're surprised. This is often how it plays out by design. Kadir deliberately keeping you in the dark and all. If we do nothing, you'll be cut down, and sure as day follows night. But I'm here to offer you a chance, a way out, under one condition. You're in hot water right now, but the prince might overlook a single act of defiance. I'm still risking much if I speak out for you, but I'm willing to take you under my wing if you swear fealty to me. I'm not making this offer lightly. As your patron, I will take responsibility for you. Your actions will reflect on me. If they reflect negatively, well, I will make sure you face the consequences. I'm really grateful, I truly am. But the consequences could be steep. I don't want to die. What if I refuse? What happens if I agree? You actually want to know more. I think this is the best option for that. What happens if I agree? Suppose I say yes, what happens then? You survive, hopefully, or not, depending on the prince's whim. I'm giving you a chance, not a guarantee. But if you take me as your patron, I will be your guide in this new reality, and you will assist me like a child would a sire. Steps and hushed voices can be heard from the side room, and it seems the prince and her counsel are returning to the showroom. And I think that's a good place to take the break for tonight's episode, and thank you for watching. If you liked what you see, press like below and comment if you have something to add. Thank you, guys.